Okay, so welcome. I have been wanting to do this for years, a very long time. Let me get this off. Okay, there I am. Hey. Okay, so I am 6 years sober this winter. Drugs, alcohol, everything. I smoke a ton of weed. That's okay for me. So I wanted to make this video, and honestly, the way I do things, I always say I don't care if anybody ever sees this. This is for me. This is to get my story out. And honestly, I know damn well it will help people. People that it's supposed to help, it will help them. So let's rewind 100 fucking years. My channel. Yep, I swear a little bit. I smoke weed on here. I don't even know if I can. Can I smoke weed on YouTube? It's a good question. If not, I'll redo this, I guess. Anyway, so fuck. Let's go way back. So I moved out. Okay, I came from a really good home. My grandparents raised me. We had a farm. They had a house in Florida. We went back and forth a little bit. My parents were long haul truck drivers, so they weren't really there. They're still not there at all now. I'm 29, by the way, now. So this was, like I said, 100 years ago. So I came from, like I said, a really good home. I had, my my Nana wanted the best for me, college, paid for, university or whatever, which I didn't go. I went to college, but this is all later on. Like I did I went to like a whole summer course for my license. She wanted me to do everything proper. Squandered that as well, let me tell you. Okay, so yeah, I was 15 when I moved out. I wanted out of there because we lived, like I said, in the middle of nowhere. We lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And I just wanted to run the streets. I had never known that, right? Like, I grew up in the middle of the woods. I didn't know anything different. I saw that and I just wanted it. I wanted to just run free. So that's what I fucking did. I ran free for years. My first place, I was 15. My Nana took me to get this place too. She was around. She's dead now. Both of my grandparents are dead, so I'm very much on my own. I'm doing well. Anyway, so the first place I ever lived, 15 room in a little basement of a house, and I was in a room, and the couple that lived above me, the guy was an ex-cop. They were like an older couple, so that was just like doomed from the beginning because, like, for one, I smoke weed. I always have. So that didn't last very long. After that, I'm pretty sure I moved up into a place near a college here with one of my girlfriends. We lived there for a while. We had a lot of fun there. We drank a lot. We partied. We'd go to the res, like the college res, and we'd party there. We'd steal all their shit. Like, oh my god, just fucking monsters. Anyway, so she turned out to be a lying cunt. I'll beep that out. Beep. Like, she turned out to just not be, whatever. So after that, I'm pretty sure I have a 10-year-old daughter. She'll be 11 in February. So I was very young when I had her. So her dad I've known since I was like 15. I met him in high school. I've had a few boyfriends prior to this and stuff. And anyway, I got with him and we had my daughter, very young. And I didn't do drugs until like after all of this. So I didn't even know what they were until later on. Like, I had a C-section with her. So I was given like morphine and I took them normally. Like, I had no idea that you could like sniff that shit or do it in other ways. Like, I'm going to get in, like, I'm talking, if you can't handle, I should say this now. If you can't handle very, very dark, explicit, like nitty gritty, like stories of like, you know, like over triggering things, overdoses, like whatever, that life. If you can't handle that, get out of my video right now, because I'm telling you, you won't be able to deal with this. I've been through a lot. I've did like, just anyway, let's keep going. So all of that, and then I'm pretty sure Stacy was like born. She was here. So what happened? We were living out at his mom's, and I came out looking for him, and I came outside around the corner, and some guy was holding a fucking thing, and he was doing a line off of it. And I freaked out. I had no idea what was going on, blah, blah, blah. Game over for me, because we started selling ecstasy. We started selling MDMA. I did ketamine. You know, we were doing blow all the time. Definitely drinking. I drank a lot. Like, I could outdrink a lot of people. I'm not bragging, because it's not something to brag about at all. But back in that life, yeah, I could outdrink everybody. It's horrible, but like, it's not good. You know, the damage that I did to my body back then, I am just starting to pay for it now, and I don't know what's coming to me. 1 second. So, after I had my daughter, I got this place when I was pregnant with her. We were just over at his mom's all the time. I gotta shut this door. I focus better when the door's shut. No one's here. It's like a thing. I don't know. I will be getting into how I got where I am and stuff. How I got where I am is all of this that I went through, you know, and now I want to help people get there no matter what you're going through. Okay. So I've always had nice places. So my first place, I was like an adult with my daughter and my whatever. So we had a 2-bedroom, 3-floor finished basement. It was like a townhouse, $103 a month. Went down to $85 a month because I had subsidy at that point. Somehow I still fucked that up. I didn't pay it. That's how bad it was. I had a psychiatrist, and she was giving me a whole bunch of psych meds and all this stuff, and you know, and I was like over just handful taking them while drinking. Like, I'm talking like erasing my hard drive. There's nights I don't remember at all, still to this day. At the time, yeah, it was a great time. It was fun. My mom probably didn't sleep even though she wasn't around. I know my grandparents definitely didn't at certain times, you know, and that wasn't even the bad time. That was young. That was fun. That was drinking and partying, going to, you know, I was really young. First time I went to the bar, I was 18, and my girlfriend got me in, and, you know, so back to where we were living. So he ended up leaving because we were young and stupid, and we didn't end up together. And so I became an escort on my 18th birthday. I will start by saying, I can't even say that. I went away. I was underage and I lied. So I went away and I made like lights, camera, action, like a full-on porn when I was 17. That never got posted because I obviously told him that I lied. But on my 18th birthday, I had to wait because I tried to do it earlier, but I had to wait. So on my 18th birthday, I became an escort, and I worked for like a company. And then I learned, oh, hey, I don't have to work for a company. I can just do this on my motherfucking own. So, you know, later on, this is all drinking and drugs this whole time, right? So I had security, and at this time I was just doing lines, just sniffing everything, right? And I don't even know how it really started. Okay, there it is. So I was doing it before that. I don't know. Anyway, so something happened. My grandmother died, and I was still just doing it like that then. Oh, I don't even like talking about this. That's what I mean. Like, oh. For me to be making this video, it's just, whoo! Saying it, like, what if thousands and thousands of people see this? Like, but it could help thousands and thousands of people. That's why I wanted to do it. I just didn't think I was going to actually be all emotional. Like, when me and my best friend talk about this stuff, I can talk about it, you know? sitting in a room alone talking to my phone about it is a little different because I have to relive it a little, you know. Okay, let me try to recenter. Give me a second here. Okay. So the lines weren't enough, and me and a couple of my girls, there were a couple of people that started coming around. They were like smoking it, so I started smoking crack with everybody, and it's so hard to talk about it on here, but yeah, I did that. We were doing that for a long time. Okay, here we go. No, on Crystal Drive was the first time I did that. Seriously, I went down that fast. I remember now. I did. The first time I did it, I was Stacy. I signed her over to my mom. I went to the psych because it was just too much. I was young and I was just stupid, right? And I went into the psych for postpartum, and I just thought I needed to just get away for 72 hours. So I signed Stacy over to my daughter over to my mom. So I signed my daughter over to my mom for 30 days. And in that time, I don't really still to this day know what happened because I still don't have her. And I understand now why, because I was not stable. And honestly, maybe if I had her, I would have stayed stable. But what if I didn't? So anyway, she was gone. So I did that. I ended up just going to this place. I remember now, he's dead too. The guy that gave me my very, very first crack toke, he's dead. But my music stopped. Hold on. It was random. Why did it stop? So, on with my story. So yeah, I was probably, I want to say 19 when I first smoked crack. It's weird to even say that because it's crazy to think that I even did that. And then, a few years of doing that and escorting and the people that I spent time with, there's one in particular that's coming in, two that are coming into my mind right now, and they're both gone. They're both dead. People that were really close to me then. Okay, my friend Mac, he's gone, so I can say his name on here. I met him when I was pregnant with Stacy. It was my daughter's father's little brother's best friend. So they were like kids. They were so young when I met him. And as the years went on, I was like, ew, you guys are like my little brother's gross. And they'd always hit on me and stuff, especially Mac. And then years and years later, this little boy was a man and he was fucking hot. So we ended up, I wouldn't say exclusively together or anything, but we loved each other. And a lot of people knew it. And I never lost someone like that before. And he overdosed. He died. I sent him away. I have pictures of it. I sent him away a bunch of years ago because there were people here looking for him. So I sent him far away. He took a bus at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was horrible. The guy that I wanted to be with, and it just never would have been because we were both just too fucked up to ever want to even be in a relationship at that point. And a bunch of years later, he had a baby at the time, a daughter with this girl. And he went there and he ended up having another baby. He had a son, and 2 weeks, I think, or a week before or after Mac's birthday, and then I can't remember. There were 2 birthdays or something, and he died. And that really, really was hard. Still hard every day. And losing him to drugs makes it so much worse because I've done this. I did it with him. We used to do them together, a lot. And he's gone, and it's hard. And that's I smile every day, and no one knows what's behind this smile. And that's not that I don't care if anybody ever sees this, like I said, but me sitting in here doing this it's so good for me. Um, and I hope it does help people, because I'm telling you all this because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I am the product of change. I promise. So I did it. You can do this. You just have to want your life. You have to fight for your soul. You can do it. Like, and that's it. Like like I told you, I did escorting. I made porn. I did that for a long time. I haven't even gotten to the nitty gritty shit yet, guys. Okay. But so, when OnlyFans came out, I didn't even know about it for a long time because I was with Wyatt's dad, and there was no way in hell I would even know about something like that with him, because he just degraded me for everything I ever did in my life. Like, he was the abusive relation. I've had a lot of abusive relations. That's a whole other video that I'm going to make. I have a lot of different videos that I want to make. One is definitely going to be on abuse. And if you're in an abusive relationship and you're aware of it, and I know it's hard, it's called a trauma bond. Google it. I'll talk about it in my other video. I'll make another video about trauma bonding. I've researched, I've learned a lot. Narcissism and being a psychopath are very, very close. Anyway, so I learned about that about 2 years ago. And so I started one, and it blew up, and I did so good. I was killing it. Oh my God, I was so excited. I was so happy. I was so proud of myself. And it was fucked, because me and Wyatt, my son, were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Anyway, I'm getting off of my story. This is later on. Okay. So where was I? Okay. So I got to a point where, I had a security. I had, the driver. I did. I was selling all the drugs. And then it was so cool to me. I was on top of the fucking world. I was invincible. Everybody wanted something from me, and, nobody. And it's not that I wouldn't allow those people around me. I have a couple, 2 friends, 3 friends, and that is it. And I don't want anymore. So we partied a lot, I would get hotel rooms, and everybody just wanted to be around. And then I don't even remember how the fuck that started. I can't remember the first time I did this. I can't. It's so hard to say it on here. So a time came, and I started doing needles. It's so hard to say publicly. I did. I don't want anybody to look at me differently. So 6 years sober, and just now on here dealing with it alone in this room. Okay, sorry, I had to delete everything on my phone to make this, because it's long, I guess. Where was I? Okay, so I didn't know that this had died or turned off or whatever, and I got into a really emotional story. Now I have to redo that, because I think it's important people understand the trauma that you can go through and get through. You don't have to keep going through it and making more trauma. Okay. So we were all in this house. So first story was, this all happened in the same house, same person, same person's house. So the first thing was, there was just me and him there. And we were doing what we were doing. It's hard to say. So, anyway, I did a really big one, and I was basically unconscious. He dragged me up on the bed, and essentially he raped me because I wasn't willing. I was barely there, and it took me years to stop telling myself, it was your own fault. You were in that position. You did the drugs. You put yourself in that position, and you put yourself out there in that way. It's your own fault that happened to you. That's how I felt. That is not how it is. That is not it. Like, no, I did not want to. I did not consent. I definitely wasn't fucking into it. I can tell you that. It wasn't like a sexual, adventure. It wasn't like that. He raped me. And I think the only reason I'm not crying is because I just talked about this and I've had a minute to kind of compose myself, and, I've had a few minutes. The second thing that happened, now, this girl is now dead. She is gone. And I told you I only have a couple friends. My one best friend, this was one of her really good friends from like childhood. And I didn't know that they knew each other. Not that it would have mattered at the time. I have to say that because I said it in the last one. She asked me, she asked me, would you do it in my jugular? And I was at that point, thought I wanted to be a nurse. Like, oh my God, it's so stupid. And so I did it. She made it up. She made it herself. I did not make it. So she essentially did it to herself because I did it right. But that's not funny and it's not the fucking point. So I did it to her and she fucking overdosed. She almost died. And I fucking blamed myself. And she is dead now. And she died a few months after this happened. And the kicker is, 20 minutes after she overdosed, and we all were tripping, trying to bring her back, helping her. She was in the bathroom 20 minutes later doing it again, alone, to herself. I went home that day. I didn't quit that day, but I went home that day. And I'm going to jump through a bunch of shit. I went to a Jack and Jill, met this guy. He had 260s of whiskey, so I was like a party animal. And I liked him and blah, 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 blah. So we ended up hanging out all night. I drank all night. Everybody went to bed. I ended up staying up. It was a good Jack and Jill. But later on, hold on. Like the Jack and Jill was good. It was on a boat in the middle of the lake. It was beautiful. It was on a big ferry boat. Anyway. So him and I partied all night. We drank all night. I was drinking like straight liquor at 11 o'clock in the morning. I remember this goddamn clock. It kept chiming every hour, and I hated it. I hated when the birds were chirping. I hated all that shit. It was horrible. So let me start my makeup because I don't want to cry anymore. So all of that. So I met him. Okay, so no, it's funny, actually. No, I met him at the Jack and Jill. The wedding was on a boat, like the reception. So by the time the wedding happened, he was in jail. Okay, so this all happened within 3 weeks. So I met him. We really kicked it off. He ended up going home, going to bed. I ended up passing out later on. And when I got up, I took a taxi to his house, and we were together for 3 weeks straight. After that, like, we really liked each other. He sold drugs. I liked that at the time. I thought it was hot, blah, blah, blah. He was like well known and da-da-da. And anyway, one day the cops came to the door, and he was expecting this. He grabbed my face and he said, I need you to hold it down. I didn't even know this guy, really. And so he left me the key to a safe full of a fuck ton of money, a bunch of drugs, blah, blah, blah. And I was using. So I ended up, I sold a lot of it, but I also did a lot of it and spent a lot of the money. And he was in for 3 months, and I was with him for about, a month after he got out. At that time, I was really hard into it. And at that time, I was ready to just let myself go. It's not that I mentally was telling myself I wanted to die or anything. Looking back, I didn't care if I lived or died, to be honest. So I was in a bathtub doing what I was doing. My best friend came over with her bikery husband, and they fucking took me out of that house. I went and lived in Aurelia with a biker, and they got me out of here, and I've been sober ever since. And she's still one of my best friends. She is. I owe her, I don't owe her my life, but I love her for giving me my life back, for making it possible. If I didn't know her, I never would have met the person that
he came here. He got me and all my stuff and took me to Aurelia to live with him and his family to get me sober. I got into college. And when I moved, I was gone for about a year from here. So and my best friend now, she had no idea where I went. You know, I didn't tell anybody I was leaving. I didn't know I was leaving. I didn't know how bad it was. So once he found out how much I spent and did, it was I was out. So she got me out of this town, I'm guessing for a bunch of reasons. Now that I look back at it, I'm guessing for more reasons than to get me sober. God knows there were probably people that wanted me or something. Who knows? I don't know, right? She doesn't tell me and I don't want to know, you know? So 6 years later, this winter, I'm sober and I am successful and I'm happy and I have a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old and I'm single, but I'm happy. I don't need that. I need me, and I love myself and I love my life, and I've built so much alone, you know. And like I said, the background that I have, OnlyFans, has saved my income, because there were a lot of times throughout being sober that I would never escort again. But there were times that I thought about it, you know. I've done webcam modeling. I've done everything. None of it was like this. It's just, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Like, yeah, I live in this big, beautiful house that is actually too big. So I am looking to move into a 3-bedroom, big, beautiful condo, the top 10th floor of this beautiful place. And it's got a stunning view. It's still 3 bedrooms. It's just all 1 floor. It's so big and beautiful. I have my own bathroom and my own closet. It's huge in the bedroom. Like, I'm praying that I get it. I hope I look back on this video when I'm living there. And I hope that this video helps people. Like, I mean it. If you're out doing this stuff, just don't. Like, you know, put that energy into getting sober and doing something like this. You don't have to stop being you. You can still be you. You can still do that stuff. Like, I love what I do. I am sitting here doing it by myself alone anyways, so why not make money doing it? And I enjoy it. I love it, because I do have a lot of history with this stuff, and that's, you know, that's one of the reasons I wanted to make all of this. I want to help people. I'm going to put a referral link in the bottom. If you want to make an OnlyFans, I will coach you. I will help you. I will just help you in general. But don't come to me unless you actually want it, because this takes time and hard work. It's a 24/7 thing, but it is a 24/7 awesome thing. If you were like me and it was like, go, 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 you were always wanting to do shit, always just, you know what I mean? It's amazing, and you build so much more money, and you can be sober, and you're in your home, and you're safe, and you're not around anyone. Just, yeah. So I think that's it. I'm doing really well. I haven't drank. Well, I mean, I had a sip of eggnog last night, but like, I don't drink, and I don't consider myself a drug addict. People, you know, I never went to NA. I never went to rehab or nothing. I went away, and I'm glad that I did. You know, people that are 10 years sober, they're like, oh, I'm still an addict. I'm not an addict. I not anymore. You know what I mean? I've come so far, and I wanted to make this not only for myself, because I just went through a lot of emotion. You guys are going to go through that with me. I hope that this reaches people, and I hope that they can actually learn from this, because I almost wish I found something like this with all this emotion and rawness in it to let me know how real it is. Like, I went to a funeral probably about, I want to say like, I don't know, I've got the date. It wasn't that long ago, but somebody that I used to know, and I'd known since I was 15 years old, and I saw him in a coffin because of drugs. He overdosed, and he was fighting for his life, and he didn't survive. And honestly, sitting here making this video right now, if I didn't leave, I would be dead. 100. I wouldn't have my son. I would be dead. My daughter would not have a mother. Like, sobriety is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's so important every day. And it's not something that I live by as sobriety. I don't talk about this all the time. I don't consider like sober living, and like, yes, I'm sober, but I'm not living my past every day. You got to let that shit go and move on from it when you finally deal with, like, I clearly haven't dealt with everything. Maybe this is how I'm going to do it. Maybe this is going to help me and help you guys. Whoever you guys is, I hope that you see this, and I hope that you can relate, and I hope that you do get a hold of me or comment below or something. Like, this is real. It's real. Like, it's so real. I see it everywhere. I walk my son to school in the morning and I see people smoking crack in the middle of the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Like, I saw a girl 2 summers ago. She was doing a needle in the middle of the sidewalk outside of a methadone clinic. And that was a big trigger for me. Not in a way that I would go do it or anything. Not ever. I would never. But in a way of remembering what I've done. And, like, just remembering things like that. I've already gone through all the emotions where I was able to, the PTSD was so strong and the trauma was so new that I could literally feel it. If I thought I would think about it hard enough, I could literally feel it. It doesn't happen now. I don't do that now. It takes a long time. It's going to take work and honesty and effort and communication with the people that you love, because they're the ones that are going to save you. You're going to save you, but they are going to be your crutch. They're going to be your rocks, and you need them. So I'm going to, mic drop that. I hope that this helps people, because it helped me. So I hope you see this, because you're going to help me and I'm going to help you. So, yeah, I'll put that link down there, like I said, and I can get you started and you will make money. I promise. So have a really good day.